The following program is suitable for family viewing. Well, non-family members can join in too.
Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of Taste Buds on R2 TV. I'm your host for today, Rotimi Alabi. A little about myself, I'm an undergrad, I'm an image consultant, I'm an OAP, and I love to cook. I'll be self-taught, but it's my comfort zone in the house. So today I'm going to be making a mixed meat fried rice with shredded beef sauce. Stay tuned. Welcome to another exciting episode of Taste Buds, and before we went on the break, I told you I was going to be making a mixed meat fried rice with shredded beef sauce. So I'm going to introduce you to what we're going to be using to cook today. This is dry pepper. We're going to be using salt. We're going to have bouillon cubes, bell peppers in yellow, green, and red. We have onions. We have cornstarch. We have spring onions, ginger and garlic, carrots, eggs, mushrooms. These are oyster mushrooms, but you can really use any type of mushrooms that you like. This is basmati rice, which I have already soaked. This is chicken breast, which I have deboned. This bones for the chicken breast, which I'm going to use to make a stock for the cooking. Peeled and washed shrimps, shredded beef, and I'm going to be using a lot of other spices that you'll see during the show. So let's get cooking. First thing I'm going to do is I am going to start making the stock with my chicken bones. It's always best to wash them again, as you never know what could be in your kitchen. So I'm going to start with one bouillon cube, some salt, a tad bit of pepper. I like spicy food, so we're going to do that. Now, for some ginger and garlic to add flavor to the meal. Two should be fine, not too much. You don't want it to be overtly garlicky. Now, the funny thing is, a lot of people say, oh my God, I can't eat food that has garlic. I can't eat food that has ginger. I wonder how they do that because it adds great flavor to your food. It's flavor that you really can't do without. So it can release a lot of flavor. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the prep for the shredded beef. So I'm going to season it now. And first thing I'm going to do when I'm seasoning the shredded beef is I will add some soy sauce. Dark soy sauce and light soy sauce pretty much does the same thing, but the difference is one adds more color than the other. So if you're using dark soy sauce, it means you're going to get darker food. So a bit of garlic in this as well. A bit of corn flour, and a bit of salt. So the corn flour helps the beef not to stick together when you're frying. It also helps to seal in whatever ingredients that you've used to season your beef. So I'm just going to mix this in quite nicely. And this is seasoned. Flavors, and more flavors. So while I'm making a stock that I'm going to use to cook the rice and a bit of the sauce, I'm going to start frying the beef on another side to make things fast. And I've done a lot of my prep before the show started. The thing with Oriental cooking is when you are going to cook, it might seem like it takes a long time, but the actual cooking time is not long at all. It's only the prep time that makes it so stressful. So if you do a lot of these things before you start cooking, you find out that your cooking might not take more than 20, 30 minutes tops. All right, there we go. So, just a very nice drizzle of oil, not so much, enough to coat the base of your pan. While that is heating up, I'm going to start dicing my chicken breasts. I've already deboned these. Most of the time when they come in with the bone, so I've already deboned these for ease of cooking. So before I come back to this, let me check if my oil is hot enough. Yeah, it's hot enough. You really don't want your oil to be too hot, because if it is too hot, your meat would burn on the outside and it wouldn't cook in. So it's just supposed to be slightly warm or slightly hot, so it can seal the juices in and then cook fully. So I will get a spatula for that. So I am basically done with the chicken. I'm sure my beef is almost done, so as soon as I'm done dicing this, I'll check that out. Yeah, so my beef is almost done, or it's basically done. All the juices have been sealed in, and you can see it's beginning to caramelize, so it has a slight brown coating around it. So, to season my chicken breasts, I'm going to use just salt. A lot of people have the feeling that you must use bouillon cubes for everything. Well, it's not necessary. I try as much as possible to use as little bouillon cubes as possible. So after salt, I'm going to do a pinch of pepper. Now I'm going to be using garlic powder and a bit of onion powder. Something very important is you want to take it easy on the spices, because even if it is Asian cooking, you don't want the flavors to overpower the whole dish. So everything should just come into each other, you know, subtly, not so much so. Now this is going into the oil. This is almost dried, so let me add a bit of water to this. Now while all of this is getting ready, I'm going to drain my rice and not really boil, but I'll just steam it for a little bit. It has been soaked for almost an hour or more, but I'm going to steam it a little bit so that it can get cooked through. You don't want to be tasting, you know, raw rice in between what you're cooking. This is done already, so, and here we go. Now I forgot to mention that when I was soaking my rice, I soaked it with lukewarm water after washing, And I like to season my rice with salt when I soak it. It just gives it a better taste that way. Right, here we are. Is this the cover? Oh yeah, it's the cover. So I'm done with that. So while the chicken is cooking as well, I'm going to start with my carrots. I think I'll do the carrots first. So I'm supposed to dice my carrots into really, really tiny bits. So first, I'm going to slice it out like this. This can be stressful, but there is beauty in cooking. I'm almost done with the carrots, and now dice. So let it cook through. After the chicken comes out, I'm going to do the shrimps, but not now. I'm going to do that maybe when my rice is ready to cook. So I'll just add this to that. There we are. I think we have enough carrots now. So next up, I'm going to work my peppers. I'll use this one. Always remember to take out the membranes of your peppers and the seeds. The seeds are not very healthy when ingested, so I'll just rinse these. I'm going to check the texture of the rice if it is properly steamed. It still needs to stay for a bit. If you pinch it and there's a little bit of resistance, then it needs to stay for just a little bit longer. So I am done with my peppers. So I'm done with my peppers, and the next thing I'm going to start working up the sauce. But stay tuned because we'll be on for a break and we'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Taste Buds. If you're just joining us, it's not too late, we're halfway through. Before we went on the break, I told you I was going to be making a mixed meat fried rice and a shredded beef sauce. So I'm halfway through and now I'm going to start making the sauce. I think I'm going to switch this because I need space. I'll just put this somewhere on the side. Now, I'm going to be really nice. I'll tell you a little about myself. Okay, maybe a little more than little. First thing that goes into this is oil, and that's not about myself. I didn't go to any culinary institution. I'm basically self-taught. And it might seem far-fetched that, you know, I know how to make all these things, but I have my mom to thank for that. I'm really, really close to my mom. So, as a young kid, anytime she was in the kitchen, I was always with her. And then, first it was probably stealing a slice of tomato or something, and I was watching her. And then from there, it actually graduated to knowledge of cooking. So, all of my basic knowledge I owe to my mother. I'd already fried the beef before, so the beef is in the oil now, but I'm not going to let it fry for too long. I'm just going to add some water because I'm making a sauce. Not so much, and I would top it up with some of the chicken stock. I'm going to season this with 1 bouillon cube. Make everything. Now I'm going to cut peppers, but I'm going to cut them in really, okay, not really large, but large chunks, and this is for the sauce. The chunks that are already a good enough size, I'm not going to cut. But those that need to be cut, I will cut. Now, this is cooking. This is looking good. Smells great too. So I would add my mushrooms. These are oyster mushrooms, but you can use any type of mushrooms that you want, really. But I decided to use oyster mushrooms today. I'm going to cheat and add a little bit of chicken into this. I'm not supposed to, but I will. Just a little bit, not too much. So I'll add a little bit of water to this because I don't want it too thick. And that should be fine. I am going to thicken the sauce with some cornstarch. And to be on the safe side, mix it with a little bit of water before you pour it in. If you pour it in direct, it might clump and you might not really like the end result. So, let me see, 2 tablespoons should be fine. Une, deux. Another thing about me is I love languages. So I like to learn something new every day, as I said. So a language here, a language there, something new every day. It doesn't hurt. I'm Yoruba, so I speak very good Yoruba, even if I dare say so myself. I speak very good Yoruba. I also speak just a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of Japanese, a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of Russian, you know. So I don't know what else to say about myself, so I still don't know what else to say about myself. So I pretty much told you everything that there is to know about me, Sha. So the catch with mushrooms is mushrooms are not meant to be overcooked, else you might not like the taste. It might become chewy, it might lose its texture generally. So when they're overcooked, you might not really like the taste. So I will add the peppers. I'll stir it for a bit and add my cornstarch. So it has begun to thicken. I'll finish seasoning with, of course, soy sauce. A little bit of sweet basil. That's that. And that's that for the sauce. This dark color is from the dark soy sauce, which I particularly enjoy anyway. Now that the sauce is almost done, I'm just gonna do the rice. The rice is not really gonna be a big deal because I'm almost done with that. So I'm gonna grab a large pot. I'm using this large pot because I need space to be able to stir my food. So I'm going to switch burners again. This is the largest pot, and this is the largest burner, so I'm going to need a lot of the heat. Switch, and high. All right. So in this, a little bit of oil. Maybe a little more than a little bit, because you don't want your rice to stick. That's enough. Now, while this is getting hot, I'm going to quickly season my shrimps. Very basic. Salt. I will use the powders for this. You know what, let me just do fresh. So I'm going to do a bit of garlic. Once that's happening, you have to be careful so you don't have hot oil splashing on you. So after the shrimp, in goes the chicken. I'm going to add my stock, or what's left of it, really. I will add my carrots. I don't want my eggs overcooked, so I'm going to add them now. I'll have added them first, but then I'll add them now. So 2 eggs will be fine. There we are. So once the eggs are cooked through, I will add my rice. Now remember, with basmati rice, you don't always have to soak it, but this is the method that I prefer. So I soak it for a bit and I steam it, then I add. Now you might wonder why I'm using basmati rice. It's Asian cooking. Asians always use basmati rice. If they don't use basmati rice, they will use other types of long grain rice like jasmine rice. So rich types of perfume rice, you know. It looks really appealing. So in goes my peppers. Now I will chop some spring onions. I'm actually going to chop all the spring onions. So I'm going to have to turn down my heat so my food does not burn. And this is looking really good. Oh, this one I'm just turning. I can't wait to eat the food. So final seasoning with salt. Not too much, have to watch it with the salt. And finally, in goes my green onions. Voila! Basically done here. And I think we're done. So, my rice is done, my sauce is done, but we'll go on a short break, and when we're back, we're going to plate. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, I'm sorry, we've come to an end, but you're going to get to see me plate. So I finished the cooking, and now you're going to get to see me plate the food. For my rice, a lot of the time you see a lot of fancy plating on Instagram. A lot of you do Instagram, so you see a lot of fancy plating on Instagram. It's not that hard. I'm going to use my mold. My mold can be any dish that you want. So I'm going to use this one. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your rice. This looks good though. Okay, so the rice goes in. And you're going to press it. Make it really compressed and firm. It's really not that hard and it's going to look nice and fancy. So take my flat plate, turn it over this way, and voila. Where do I want this? I want it at the edge, so I'm just going to leave my dish at the edge like this. Now you have to try to raise the dish up very carefully. Aha! There we are. Looks really nice, and some sauce to boot. So I'm just going to put the sauce at the side as well. And this should be fine. Let me put some more. There we are. And it is time to taste. And note, you can see the color of the sauce. It's very translucent, so it means it's not too thick. So it is time. I've waited for this for a while and I don't feel like tasting it, but I'm going to taste it anyway. So a bit of the rice first. So taste them. Oh, sauce, rice and sauce together. Okay, well, this is divine. Tastes amazing. It's sad that I'm tasting this alone, but if you want to taste this with me, you could also try this at home. And I would love to get your feedback, so when you do this, you can put up pictures on our social media platforms, #TasteBuds, #R2TV, #RotimiAlabi. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, R2TV, and the platforms are scrolling down on your screen. And you should also follow me on social media at RotimiAlabi, on Instagram and on Twitter. But before we go, our food tip for the day. Food tip, vegetables. As you can see, I use a lot of vegetables for the food. So vegetables are an important part of healthy eating and provide a source of many nutrients, including potassium, fiber, folate, which is folic acid, and vitamins A, E, and C. Options like broccoli, spinach, tomatoes, and garlic provide additional benefits, making them a superfood. So until I come your way again, thanks for tuning in. It is still Taste Buds on R2TV. Ciao, Bella. Did I do that again?
Hello out there.